tell us your journey into home aesthetics and lifestyle.
I don't follow strict rules. I don't follow any particular systems per se, and surely no trends. So I follow where the light falls in the room, where the air is moving from the window, which corner do we naturally all gather in.
So the aim is to create a home where less is more.
You often say clutter equals to stuck energy. Why is that?
So imagine walking your life with a 25-kilo suitcase in your hand.
How does Feng Shui come in here?
However big or smaller space, you can even just feng shui your office table. Let your home heal you. And we have to decide that less is more. So homes aren't just where we live, but they actively shape our lives. Hello everyone, and welcome to our conversation today. I'm Meenakshi Agrawal, an urban energy architect, and I'm truly excited about this chat. We are talking about modern homes, calm energy, and intentional living, and I'm joined by someone who truly embodies this philosophy. I'm joined today by Priya Iyer, also known as Urban Iyer on Insta. She is a homemaker and a content creator. Priya's home is not just about trends and rules. It's about creating spaces that not only look good but also genuinely feel calm and good to live in. She is someone whose work beautifully blends home architecture, mindful living, aesthetics, and soulful spaces that spark real joy. We will also be exploring feng shui vibes, healthy relationships, and how our environment can support inner peace and harmony and a deeper connection in the family. So, let's dive right in. Welcome, Priya. It's so good to have you here. So, tell us a little more about yourself and your journey into home aesthetics and lifestyle.
Absolutely. Firstly, thank you so much for having me here, Meenakshi. I am really happy to be here and I'm so looking forward to our conversation.
My pleasure.
Like you rightly mentioned, I am a homemaker by choice and a content creator by expression, and for me, both come from the same place, that is being present. Now, I have spent about 15 years in the corporate world in media, publishing, and sales. So that phase of my life was purely goal-oriented, performance-driven, whereas this phase is all about being present, being more slower, about noticing, and about being intentional and living life actually day by day. So my journey into home aesthetics and styling started very organically, very instinctively. I don't follow strict rules. I don't follow any particular systems per se, and surely no trends. I'm guided by instinct. I'm guided by intentional living. So I follow where the light falls in the room, where the air is moving from the window, which corner do we naturally all gather in. So I observe how we as a family live, where do we talk, how do we rest, where do we pause normally, and then I let the space take shape around that. So for me, when a home reflects the people who live in it honestly, it automatically feels beautifully balanced.
Wow. We talk so much about good vibes in a home. So when you enter a space, Priya, what elements instantly give you that sense of calm and joy?
So for me, Meenakshi, it has always been about feeling than the look. So when I enter the space first, I don't notice the decor. I see how it makes me feel, how my body feels. Am I able to relax? Am I able to breathe in? Am I able to comfortably slow down? So these are factors that really matter to me. Also, I notice how's the airflow in the room, where is the light coming in, is it soft, is it harsh? So naturally, these are elements that spark joy and calm in me. I look for natural textures, I look for plants that are thriving, intentional decor pieces that are there. These are things that matter to me, and that to me is good energy. You are an urban energy architect and someone who visualizes and transforms through Vastu and Feng Shui. Given your knowledge and expertise in this subject, how do you go about, the space? surely space is not just about status, architecture, or trends. It is about energy, right? So how do you feel that the design of the home influences the connection between the people living in it?
You've really hit the nail on the head. And being a qualified energy architect, working in a lot of fields like feng shui, vastu, and astrology, I think the designs of a home influence relationships very, very deeply. There are homes which feel not so nice, even though they look very beautiful. So a home is not only about statues, about paintings, about decor. It's also a lot about the emotions. The walls carry emotions, objects carry memories, and how we place it, letting our home breathe, giving enough space to the things as well as to the people who live in it. That is very, very important. A home is where we talk, where we disagree, where we reconnect, and then we rest together. When spaces feel tight, rushed, or pushed, then the communication between family members also feels the same. Right. And that is very, very detrimental to the general happiness and harmony. It creates friction, it creates unnecessary animosity between family members. So the aim is to create a home where less is more, where things are meaningful, beautiful, or useful. And then that energy pervades your relationships as well.
Absolutely. The home is a space where there is so much of an emotional exchange happening, right? Great.
That's beautiful, Priya. And I can feel that when I see your page too. Can you share a moment where changing your environment changed the way that you and your family interacted with each other?
Sure thing, absolutely. So I have a very beautiful deck area near the window in my living room.
I saw that on your page, and I must say the serenity of that sort of spills over outside the digital page as well.
Absolutely. So again, it wasn't already in the first try itself. Initially, yes, there was ample amount of light. We had a bookshelf, a lot of plants there. Still, something felt incomplete. Something wasn't sort of clicking out there. And that's when I was just seeing we as a family naturally sit down on the floor, have chai, talk together. That's our natural way of unwinding and being comfortable. So that sort of gave me an idea. Let me put a floor seater, let me add a soft carpet, and Meenakshi, you won't believe it, the energy completely shifted. Suddenly we all wanted to gather there. Whether we are talking or having chai together or simply just sitting there quietly, but we are together.
It gave a grounding point to your family,
absolutely,
really.
Absolutely. A simple thing as just observing what your family needs and just catering to that. And the design follows it, right? I mean, the function always follows eventually, but this is what I was looking for, and that was something which comes to my mind when you ask me this question about how a certain shift can sort of change the energy of the space. You often say clutter equals to stuck energy. Why is that?
So imagine walking your life with a 25-kilo suitcase in your hand. Would it not tire you, exhaust you, give you achy arms, slow you down the pace at which you move?
True.
So clutter does exactly that to your home. And since your home in feng shui is said to reflect your life, it somewhere brings that slow down, that stuck energy into your life as well. So you may find that your career is not moving the way it should, your relationships seem to be stagnating, and that you are generally doing a lot but not achieving a lot, really. So clutter is not just about physical things, it's also the energetic clutter. And that's like a topic for another day, Priya, where we must talk about that how to cleanse your home physically and energetically, and thus cleanse your life physically and energetically.
Totally. I couldn't agree more with you on this. I also wanted to ask you one thing. Do you consciously design or style corners, or do you let your intuition lead?
So, I am a highly qualified feng shui and vastu consultant. So, of course, I have all the scientific logic and learning and knowledge backing me. But somewhere that intuition, that gut instinct, the sixth sense leads. It's always the king. Because when you walk into a space, the space talks. It already tells you what it needs. Your spaces, your homes, your offices are there to support you, to nurture you, to protect you. We just have to know how to listen. And when we listen, the space tells us that, hey, give me the chance to support your life, to support your goals and aspirations.
Absolutely. This aligns so much with, also being intentional and being intuitive, right? I mean, it's so similar in that aspect.
And so this is especially very important in today's modern world where there are high-rise apartments, where you're sort of sharing your space with so many others.
Right.
You have so much noise all around. Loudspeakers, festivals, cars honking.
Absolutely.
Just even the noise of people rushing about their day-to-day lives.
Correct. And this is where I wanted to ask you a question. Given the layouts that are there already, it's compact layout, right? How does Feng Shui come in here? How would you, suggest that we incorporate the Feng Shui aspect in this
So
space?
Feng Shui is really, really ideal for such spaces because in a way it's a kind of a no demolition vastu. And however big or smaller space, you can even just feng shui your office table. You can just feng shui that little corner of your room. When I see the photographs on your Insta page, I feel that even having not learnt the science, you are intuitively and instinctively doing so. You're creating a beautiful, calm energy. And you can do it in any place. Let your home heal you. Just don't decorate it. Let it heal you. Let it heal your life.
Absolutely.
So it is very important and essential that we took a good look at our homes and we sort of connect with it. And we have to decide that less is more.
Absolutely.
So don't place more objects. Think what is unnecessary. Take it away. And then see where is it that you gravitate to and let that place become more and more welcoming for you and your energy.
Absolutely. This is so interesting and enlightening as well, right? I mean, there are so many things that is just doable. You don't need big rituals. Simple act of, just sort of looking at a certain space differently, observing your family, observing the space, the light, the air, everything sort of, you can then immediately realign the space and incorporate good energy in that place.
That's such a powerful statement to end on, Priya.
Thank you.
It is intentional living at its best. Just being there, just being present, allowing your space to work for you, to not just be a space that has to be decorated, but a space that can heal you and your life. And thanks for reminding us, Priya, that homes aren't just where we live, but they actively shape our lives.
Absolutely, absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you on all of these lines. 3 takeaways for me particularly, Meenakshi, is about the clutter, right? We all have clutter in some form, be it physical or be it, in terms of mentally as well. How it creates that stuck energy in all of us. So that is something I am amazed with. Simple acts of, clearing the clutter in some way or the other. You can immediately open up the energy in your space. The second thing that really stood out for me is about how there is harmony in relationship when you actually observe and listen to the people living in the home and to the home per se as well, and suddenly the entire dynamic changes in that space and it brings in harmony. And third that stood out for me is we don't just decorate just for the sake of decorating. We decorate so that the space heals us in some form.
Yes.
Amazing insights.
Thank you, Priya, for joining me today. And I'm so glad that Priya and I have been able to talk about how your home is an emotional receptacle and that we can make the most of it and have very positive emotions towards each other and towards our own selves by creating a home that heals.